All right.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to, I guess, first impressions here of the Heart of the Swarms. If you guys didn't know already, the beta just came out, and we got our chances to play it a little bit.
Yeah, how many games have we played by now?
Collectively, maybe 200?
Probably around 200 games.
Nah, that's too much.
Well, we have
played
like 80
a lot, but
wins
not
or
200.
something. Like, we already have like 90 wins on our account or something like that.
No, we have over 100 wins.
Over
Really?
100 wins? Yeah, so we've played a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we also played on other account.
Yeah.
Well, if we've only got 100 wins, that means there's only about 15 losses.
Yeah, so we are like
we're
150.
looking at
So 120 games, guys, not bad.
but in all seriousness, no, we got our hands on the beta, and we've been playing as much as possible. We're here now to actually talk about it and, you know, just get our first impressions on what we think about each of the new units, the metagames, the races, and so forth. So,
Andre, I'm going to kick it to you with a question first.
Sure.
What are your first impressions on Heart of the Warhound?
Heart of the Warhound. It has to be one of the most frustrating things if you're fighting against it, but the best things if you're actually building it. I actually did a fast Warhound into battlecruiser build. Yes, it works.
I think
Anything
in general, anything that includes Warhound is going to be functional because this is like the best unit that has ever existed. This is like one supply roach with extra range.
Yeah, Warhounds are 2 supply. Ridiculous.
Why is the Warhound 2 supply? A Zealot is 2 supply, guys.
Little tiny Zealot, big massive Warhound. He's like, I mean, oh, Immortal, you have hardened shields? No problem.
If you take 3 tanks and stack them on top of each other, it's still not as tall as a Warhound.
It's not.
And it moves faster.
Yeah.
And it
Hey
moves
guys,
faster.
what do we do if we get like our quest for GM after this game?
What?
Anyway.
Wow, you got.
What should we do in celebration? Is that what you're saying?
No, like this is our. Oh god, wait, I'm getting. Something's happening.
Let's pull up Kevin's screen. Pull up Kevin's screen and see what he's doing.
Let's pull up Kevin's screen real quick.
He's playing.
So what we want to do first is let's talk about Terran. Since we are just on the Warhound, let's talk about that unit. What you guys like about it, what you don't like about it, and where you think it fits into the metagame.
I really like the Warhound because I'm playing Terran and I was actually doing.
Look, he picks up the weapon as well. He was so insecure what he wanted to do. He's like, oh, shall I pick up? Shall I pick up? Shall I pick up? Yes,
I think Secret Missiles being 100 energy is a lot more impactful than people think it is, especially for late game.
100% agree.
So if you can shoot 2, it's really important because before you only could shoot 1. The fact that Ravens pop out quicker, especially with the energy upgrade, is actually really valuable now. Before I kind of thought it was a useless upgrade, and I think that's really beneficial. Widowmine, I'm kind of underwhelmed. I don't think it's that good. It's 35 AoE splash damage, barely enough to kill a Zergling if it has 100.
Did you know that the Widowmine takes the same amount of supply
as a Warhound?
As a Warhound. What should I get, guys?
Let's do 35 damage once, or let's do 35 damage every time we shoot forever.
Well, no, the Warhound's DPS is higher than a Marauder if it's hitting an armor unit.
Yes.
So it's like 17.
It starts at 23, and it does 23 to everything. That's what's awesome. And then it progressively gets higher, of course, by 2 for each upgrade. You know, the Warhound, obviously, it's still in its infancy. They haven't tested it out as much. I think the Warhound is probably... Okay, what Blizzard said...
It's headed for a nerf, quite frankly.
It is tethered for a nerf, but I think the overall design of it is poor.
I'm going to laugh so hard when they buff
Warhound?
Is poor.
Oh.
And the reason why I say that is because I think there's a lot of redundancy with the Marine and Marauder. You're basically taking the role of the Marine and Marauder and making a unit that's just 10 times better. Yeah, exactly. And what are you going to nerf in it? Is it going to be
220 health?
Is it going to be...
I mean, it's pretty obvious what Blizzard wants to do. They're trying to say, hey, you have factory tech too.
Yeah.
You have these other options. And they've successfully done that. Right now, the meta is all about mech.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing, honestly, because there's some really fun dynamics in there. Like, Andre, we were discussing how much higher the skill ceiling is going to become in Heart of the Swarm, because when you start seeing players figure this out and you've got an army with, we'll say a Warhound-based army, with Hellions supporting, with siege tanks, with Widow Mines.
But let me pose this thing first, too, because I think a lot of people are getting so caught up in, hey, why are you doing this to Terran? Why are you making it so factory tech is the only tech that you really go? And I think that does have some merit to it as well. Let's be honest. How advanced can you get with Marine Marauder Micro? Like, how complex can it be? We've exhausted it.
Yeah. We saw that in Season 2, Season 3 of the GSL.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
Yeah. And I think Blizzard, from a development point, is really hitting some sort of standstill when they're like, well, we just can't do anything with
I don't know, Kev.
Marine Marauder Ghosts.
It's
I mean,
not
it's
looking
the
like a
same
very good
thing every
attack.
time.
Oh, so you're saying the Warhound would be good with Marine Marauder, like late game, like TVP?
I'm saying the reason why the Warhound is sort of necessary is because Marine Marauder barracks play overall is stale, and you can't actually play Marine Marauder at that type of high level that you want to be seeing every single time. Did we get GM? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. No, your opponent was GM.
Really?
Yeah.
Your opponent was GM?
But we didn't get anything.
Huh. But maybe, wait, how come we don't even have a league next to us anymore?
Let's play another game.
We're in
Yeah.
flux. We're in limbo.
We'll keep going, Kevin.
Exactly. All right, let's talk.
Unless you want to join us in the discussion.
Play as ranked, Kevin.
Oh.
Kevin, play as ranked.
Oh, I didn't play as ranked?
Yeah.
Cancel. Go to quick match
Go to quick match and play
and
as
then
ranked.
play as rank.
Ah,
Oh, so we'll probably get Grandmaster with that.
damn
All right,
it.
let's move on into the next discussion, actually, which was the Raven that you just... Are you done with the
no,
Warhound?
Okay, no, I thought you were changing races on me, but no, yeah, the Raven
Yeah.
is so strong. I played a game with Andre the other day where I was just ahead of a Terran for 30 minutes. He was on 3 base trying to get a 4th, and I was sort of playing the deny game. I was playing with Roach, Hydra, and Fester, which is really fun. And then he kind of rolls out with his big mech army. And I was like, okay, cool, I can crush this. But the Ravens come. And guys, Seeker Missile is already really strong.
And, you know, it might seem small,
care what you have to say,
25
Dave.
energy, but it actually has the potential of doubling the damage for 100
that's
Seeker
exactly
Missiles.
what it does
That's
late game. It says, okay, now I have twice as much Seeker Missile.
Exactly, yeah.
It is going, wow. Like the Terran meta is just going to totally just go crazy. And the Raven's going to be applicable definitely in TVZ. We're going to see a lot of it there. I think we're going to see some of it in the other matchups too, though.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's just a very, it's almost like Storm in a sense.
The only problem I see with it in the metagame, though, would be the fact that because 200 Ravens are so powerful, we're going to have a lot of sitting games. And I don't like that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of where the Wings of Liberty metagame is now.
Yes, that's true.
But I think that kind of... The thing that I'm really excited about in Heart of the Swarm, just speaking on a grand scale, is how much more stuff there is. There's just so much more to do, and that's just a direct direct effect of having more units and more skills at your disposal. But
Don't go in game
the
yet.
case of,
Wait like
of,
2 minutes,
of
okay?
The sitting game. There's just more stuff to sit on, in a sense, and more things you have to consider. I don't know, man. To me, it's feeling a lot more Brood War-esque. Maybe it's not quite there yet, but the discussion we were having was there's these moments in the game where we're feeling overwhelmed.
Yes.
And that's good. That's awesome. That's us saying, "Oh shoot, I'm not fast enough. I need to physically become faster if I'm going to advance past this stage in my gameplay."
I think something that's really cool is the introduction of a lot of space and positional type units. I didn't hear anything he said. What did he say?
I was saying bad things.
Oh, okay.
Bad things about your mother.
Thank you, Ben. Leave my mother out of this. I think what's really cool is it really focuses on a lot of positional things like Widow Mines does AoE. Well, Tempest was supposed to do AoE. I'm not sure about how things go, but
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Seeker Missile becoming more prevalent means control your units better, space things out more. I think a lot of things in Heart of the Swarm will reward people who not only control their units better, but position better. And not position better, but also space their units better. And I think that kind of space control, not just for one type of unit, but all throughout units, every single tier has that control now. I think it'd be really important.
I think obviously the question Andre was, or the answer that Andre was kind of fishing for there, though, is Blizzard has said, hey, we don't want it to be Death Ball anymore. But now we've just kind of turned the Death Ball on its head and said, okay, look at Terran. I can turtle on Warhound, Siege Tank, maybe some Thors, maybe some Battle Hellions, and then add in a bunch of Ravens, and I don't ever have to leave. You can't attack into me.
Yeah, and that's something I think the developers really need to think about when they go into StarCraft II, Heart of the Swarm. Do they want to actually concentrate the game around these spellcasters that just have so much potential at changing a battle? And that's something that, yes, I think Hunter-Seeker Missiles, they're awesome. They're really cool. It's a cool concept. But is this the type of game that you want to actually be building? Because it does get to a point where it's the correct decision is to do nothing. Actually do nothing and just wait for energy. And I feel that's a very slippery slope to actually go into for StarCraft.
That said, there's one unit in particular that really challenges that. That's, of course, the Zerg unit, the Viper.
Yes.
And I guess we can sort of go ahead and start talking about Zerg. We touched on all the Terran changes.
No, we have one more, the Widow Mine, of course. We touched on it a little bit.
Talked on it a little bit. And also, there's the Reaper change that we haven't mentioned at all.
Yeah, the Reaper change that nobody's used because they don't use it.
Nobody
no. Straylock showed me a build where I matched up against Straylock on the ladder. He crushed me. But it's like instead of you just go 3 Reapers and Hellions like you do back in like TVT.
Yeah.
But instead you don't have to get Bluefin because Reapers have a lot more durability. But they heal really fast.
What matchup is this?
TVT.
Okay.
You just go Reaper Hellion like normal, and then Reapers have a lot more use.
Does the Reaper regen, is that like you start with it?
Yes, it's innate.
So that sounds pretty crazy because the 3 Reaper opening was already very strong in TVT situationally.
Yeah.
And then the real weakness of it is eventually your Reapers just die. But if they naturally regenerate, that might be something that we see across all matchups.
Well, like, if the medevac dies, you can still use your Reapers. Like, a lot of times people feel like they can't use Reapers, but I think, it's all right. It still has its place. And, like, because of the way mech's changing and stuff, it's a lot more viable, like, if you use Reaper openings in other matchups, too, like TVP.
Cool.
That's all.
So can we talk about Zerg now? I really want to talk about Zerg now.
Let me just make sure everything with the Warhound, the Battle Hellion, that's another thing we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I don't mind. I can actually talk on this, too. Certainly from a Zerg point of view. The Battle Hellion feels really good to me.
I think it feels too good to me, but just to let you know, the difference is 55 hit points extra that you get with the Battle Hellion, plus you do 2 more damage base. Yes.
Oh.
You do 2 more damage base. That is pretty substantial.
That said, we're at a stage in the Wings of Liberty metagame where people are still making Hellions and really struggling to be successful with them unless you see the Zerg players screw up. Like run-bys are always going to be powerful because of the splash damage dynamic, but Hellions just haven't been getting it done recently. So the Battle Hellion introduces a little bit more, strength to that dynamic. And there's pushes, and we talked about this yesterday when we were playing, Andre. The Terran push with 2 medevacs, 16 or so Marines, and 3 or 4 Hellions. That's a very basic push that Zergs are used to shutting down, sometimes with just pure Zergling.
Yes.
You throw the Battle Hellion into the mix, and all of a sudden, that just became so super strong. Like, I saw that push come, and I'm like, okay, I've played against this a million times. I had maybe 40 Zerglings, but the Hellions tank so much, and the damage, like, the splash is such, like, I don't even know. Like, everybody knows how to engage Hellions. They shoot linear, don't line up. How the hell, like, it's like a conal attack.
Yeah, it's almost like you need range and you need to kite it to be able to deal with it. And I think that is something cool. StarCraft Brood War had this unit called the Fire Bat, where you can stick 2 of them on a ramp with a medic, and your ramp was impenetrable. There could be 1,000 Zerglings coming at you, and it was literally impossible to actually kill. It was absolutely crazy.
With the barracks floating over.
With the barracks floating over, sure. Well, that's... I wish that was in Heart of the Swarm. But the fact of the matter is, now we have this positional unit, I think, that has a lot of damage, that has a lot of tanking abilities, and you add some SCVs with repair, and you could very well just hold a ramp forever.
Choke forever. Zergling run by, no problem, man.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I think the Battle Hellion is really strong, and I think that's something. I think early game timings. Okay, let's think back to when StarCraft II first came out, and it was all about who could come up with the next great rush, the next great cheese. All these early game timings that we're used to dealing with are going to become much harder to cope with, and I think Zergs are going to maybe have to make some roaches now in the early game. It's now going to become a requirement.
Or even Banelings. Banelings are going to be forced.
But is it Battle Hellion?
No, they're light.
It's still light when it's in the battle form?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, that's Baneling makes it much
Banelings
more
are
doable.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so I guess let's move on to Zerg. Any more discussions about Terran right now? Good. Let's go to Zerg. We'll start off with probably one of the most powerful units, I think, in the game that were introduced, the Swarm Host.
Cool. I love the Swarm Host. And I think generally everybody knew Swarm Host was going to be cool and fun and strong. I don't think people realized how cool and fun and strong it actually is, because it's almost like a layer tech Broodlord. It's free units. It gives you great ability to control space. It forces detection out of your opponent, and I mean, it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. like you can actually contain your opponents, and that's something that
Yeah.
Zerg's never really been able to do in the past.
I think that's something that we haven't seen at all. Contain, like we don't see this in any matchup, really.
Sometimes you see some TVT contains.
Yeah, very
But
rarely.
honestly, Terran is the only race that you ever see truly locking somebody down with tank contains and bunkers and stuff. Now I think you're really going to see some of that, especially in ZVP. But you were talking about how it might be used in ZVZ.
Yeah, okay, so I was playing a game against Live Zerg, actually. And I was doing just a regular...
Where did all those Marines come
a
from?
regular
It's so
ZVZ
stupid.
build where, you know, you get fast upgrades and you are okay. And then all of a sudden, I'm going Zergling Infestor, and he just goes Swarm Hosts. And I'm in a position where I can't actually engage against the Swarm Hosts. Like, there's no way for me to wrap around. They're so tanky as they are. Well, he got +2 armor, but they are pretty tanky. And my Zerglings were just completely useless. So it is a really tough decision sometimes. I think it's going to
Stupidest
change the
thing
matchup
ever.
quite
Suddenly they have
quite
like 9
substantially.
Marines. Okay,
Oh,
we need 2 more upgrades, guys. I suddenly have like 9 Marines in my natural. I didn't see it.
we're in
Ah.
Diamond.
Suddenly freaking the Ognis. Suddenly I have 9 Marines. It would have been so good. My build was so good
I have
against
no
this.
clue what you're talking about.
Swarm, yeah,
No.
Swarm Host.
What-
Really
what are
fun,
your
really
thoughts
good
about
unit.
Swarm Host, guys?
I'm eager to hear what you have to say about the Swarm Host, Dan.
And also, I think their rate of spawning this Locust is not that fast. It's actually really exploitable, especially with the Marines. I think Swarm Host ZVT is really useless.
I disagree so much.
I do too.
Because with Swarm Host gives Terran, not Terran, gives Zerg options. You basically open up, it's one tech path, but you basically open up 2 choices there with one structure. You can go Infestor or you can go Swarm Host. And for instance, the best example I can think of is a ZVZ example. I love my +1 Zergling attack to deny a third base. That kind of a build, and people that are familiar with how Scarlet plays ZVZ, for instance, is just heavy on the Zergling, come out with a timing attack, and then expand behind it while teching up to Ultralisks. I think the Swarm Host really makes that a lot better because now you come out and they haven't taken a third base. Oh no, what do? I can get Swarm Host. You come out and you deny the third base. Oh, that's awesome. I can get Swarm Host still, and now I can be the active containing player. So very applicable in ZVZ. In Zerg versus Terran, I think...
Yeah, my thing is I said it's not good ZVT, and you just talked about ZVZ.
In Zerg versus Terran, I think the big struggle for Terran these days is Broodlord Infestor. Why don't you throw in 4, 5, 6 Swarm Hosts, and now you've got twice as much stuff for Terran to deal with.
You know, I actually played with guys from Ministry of Wind and tried to do mech against Swarm Hosts. Absolutely got crushed. There's no way I could have done anything. And he was able to just maintain constant pressure. I couldn't kill things fast enough because you actually need a ton of Hellions. And Hellions, let me tell you, they don't actually last that long against those Swarm Hosts. You have that with something conjuncted like Infestors, Zerglings, something more to fill in that time between each individual, I guess, pop. You know, Swarm Hosts, I think they really do have a lot of application. Now, you're absolutely right. They might be good against, or excuse me, Bio might be good against it, but this is a day and age where Bio is starting to look a lot less effective in all their matchups.
Yeah, and of course the real strength of the Swarm Host, Andre and Dan, I think, is the fact that those little locusts are ranged, which is why the Hellions aren't so effective, which is why it can be so damn strong against mech, for instance, just because you can't sit right on top of them and kill them. It's really complicated, and while I mean, come on, we've been playing Heart of the Swarm for a couple of days. We certainly haven't seen the full range of possibilities there, but just the whole concept of having that at your disposal. Remember in Brood War when players would just put a couple spines, a spore crawler, and a lurker or 2 at their expansions, and now those expansions are impossible to attack. I don't know if the Swarm Host gives us that much flexibility, but I think it's going to be really hard to drop a base that has 2 Swarm Hosts sitting there just chilling.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a lot more difficult. And remember, they pop out 2. Each of them do 16 damage. So that's quite considerable. You're talking about 32 damage, just a single shot. And let me tell you, they attack really freaking fast as well. I don't know for sure how they're going to turn up, but I'm looking forward to the future. Again, this has only been, 2 days of the beta, and there's a lot that can happen. Anything else on the Storm Host, guys?
I really want to talk about the Viper. After a quick commercial.
Catch you after the break.